Hello, this is Deborah Yao with Black Education TV, and I'm going to be discussing comedian Byron Allen. Apparently, he just bought the Weather Channel for $300 million. Now, I'm going to read a short article, and then I'm going to share my perspective on this major purchase of this so-called black comedian. Okay, the article reads as follows. It says, comedian Byron Allen acquired the Weather Channel TV network as he looks to expand his film and TV production company into a major media business. Allen's Entertainment Studios, Inc. bought the network from Blackstone Group, Bain Capital, and Comcast Corp., according to a statement Thursday. The price was approximately $300 million. According to a person familiar with the terms who wasn't authorized to speak publicly and asked not to be identified. That's a fraction of what the larger company sold for a decade ago. Okay, so apparently it was sold for more, so wonder what that's about. But anyway, the deal includes the famous cable TV network, but not online assets such as the website weather.com and related mobile apps, which were acquired by International Business Machine Corp. In January 2016. In an interview on a day in which rain and snow blanketed much of the U.S., Allen said he was attracted to the reach and familiarity of the brand. Snowstorms, rain, mudslides, our lives and our families' safety depend on this info, Allen said. When a big storm happens, it's the Super Bowl of weather. As many as 30 million people watch. Allen's company produces and syndicates TV shows and has released films such as last year's thriller, 47 Meters Down. It also owns Comedy.tv and Cars.tv, which are distributed online and through pay TV providers. Allen said he wants to invest more in the Weather Channel, expanding both its international and local distribution. It's part of a broader strategy to invest what he said would be billions of dollars in the media and entertainment industry. The Comcast Blackstone Bain-led group has purchased the Weather Channel in 2018 for about $3.5 billion. A spokesman for Blackstone declined to comment. Wow. Whew. So it would appear, though, as though he got a great deal. If they purchased it for $3.5 billion and he's getting it for $300 million, sounds as if it was on the decline and they're cutting their losses and running in the opposite direction. But anyway, I just find it interesting that a comedian, Byron Allen, had $300 million to invest in something such as this. Now, I'm not saying whether that's good or bad, but what I find interesting is when you have so-called black people that have pockets that deep to make such investments, you have those who always wonder. They always wonder, why is there no investment in the so-called black community? Now, this is a very complicated thing to wrap your brain around because there are so many levels to this, family. I mean, there's so many levels I could go with this, but I'm going to try to cover as many as I can. Well, not as many as I can, just a few. I'm going to cover just a few because there are so many levels. You have the whole idea of, okay, when you say why, or you ask the question, why do these kind of so-called black people not invest in the black community? You ask these questions because you'll say to yourself, black spending power is at an all-time high. And we're always talking about how much black people invest in this industry and that industry and this industry, and how much we just pour into so many different things financially, right? And so you would think that people such as this Byron Allen guy, you would think that they would want to somehow tap into the black market to do something that would somehow benefit the black community, but that is not what we see happening. Okay, now that's one way you can look at it, because everyone else goes after black dollars except for so-called black people, you see. And when I say so-called black people, this is another one of those levels I'm talking about. I'm talking about these wealthy black people, because you do have small black business owners who have specialized products that are tailored to black people, such as beauty salons, clothing lines that are tailored to black people. You have your little restaurants in black neighborhoods that are tailored to black people. So there are little small operations, small business operations that are ran by black people that are tailored to black people, right? But what I'm talking about are those deep pocket black people, the Oprah Winfreys of the world, the Byron Allens of the world. You see the Michael Jordans of the world, those with the deep pockets. You don't see necessarily them trying to find a market within the so-called black community. And many will frown upon that. But then there is this understanding. This is why I say the levels are deep, family. There's this understanding that we treat our own differently. You will have, in which we have a great example of that, you will have a black person who says, look, I want to be a blessing to the black community. I'm going to open a grocery store in the black community, and I'm going to make sure there's always fresh produce, the best prices. The store is going to be the whip. It's going to be the bomb. And my people are going to just come to it in droves just to support me because I am a black business. And it's like, wrong. That didn't happen. Even though he was a celebrity, there were reports of black people saying, no, he's a little bit too far. This one is a little bit closer. And we're not talking about far as in miles far. We're talking about just a very small distance, just 5 minutes out of the way from where they were used to shopping before. There were actually black people years ago when this celebrity opened up his grocery store. I believe it was down in Louisiana. Wendell Pierce. He closed within a year or close to a year because he just wasn't getting the support. And there were black people actually saying that they support this Mexican grocery store that they've been going to for years, and they've been good to me. So, they real nice to us. So I'm going to just keep on supporting them. They are minority too. Oh, okay. So now you're going to play the Mexican is the minority card on us to justify your support of the Mexican grocery store versus supporting Wendell Pierce's grocery store, a black man, right? And I know that I started off talking about comedian Byron Allen, you see, and that's why I say I have other angles that I like to cover than, what the obvious is. And many times our people are frustrated that people like this and say, well, how much of that is he spending in the black community? We are always wondering why no one is spending anything in the black community, when that's simply not true. A lot of people are. You have Asians, white people, Chinese people. They all have stores and businesses in the black community, but they take their money and they take it out to their communities because we don't demand anything more. So these other nations are able to get over on us and get away like fat cats. But the minute one of your own develops a product or a service or a business within the black community, either they don't get support, or you'll have other so-called black people saying, oh, he or she is just trying to get over on black people. You see what I'm saying? So it's like this vicious circle with us. It's hard to keep it positive when you know what is going on behind the scenes. You see, you'll look at a person like Byron Allen, and there's many ways to look at it, so many levels to this. Now, on one hand, I can say, well, look, man, I know there's something you can do in the black community. Now, this is me talking, right? I know that there is something, but then you have to look at the other part where people say, is it even worth it? Is it even worth a try to invest in the black community when all I'm going to get is Uncle Tom, hating Negroes, crabs in the barrel syndrome, wanting to break into my place of business, burning it to the ground, stealing my stuff, calling me a sellout, saying that I'm trying to get over on the people? That's why people like this don't invest heavily within the so-called black community, because even the small mom and pop operations can't get a fair shot. I mean, the number of so-called black business owners that I have known, even living in the city of Detroit, that have been robbed by so-called black people, mistreated and abused by so-called black people, taken advantage of by so-called black people. Oh, here Deborah goes with that negative stuff again. If my people, which are called by my name, would humble themselves and pray and show and turn from their wicked ways. We have to turn away from our wickedness, family. We have to show our people their transgressions. We have to stop this stuff, this vicious cycle. Because what's the point of speaking something positive when we still have all this negative to deal with? You see, there is so much that needs to be dealt with. We can't continue to sweep it under the carpet and then get mad at people like comedian Byron Allen because he's investing in something. We're saying, well, that's $300 million. He could have invested in them. I mean, what is he going to do in the black community? What is he going to do? See, the problem is we want someone to give $300 million worth of handouts. Because if you start something meaningful like a whole bunch of a slew of community gardens, what's going to happen with that? Are you going to get the help? Are they going to appreciate the food? Or are they going to do what they did to a friend of mine, where someone came in the wee hours of the night and decided they were going to rip up everything that she planted and just destroy every bit of effort that she put forth? Catch-22 of being black in America. Being black in this world is a catch-22. You love your people, you want to help your people, but your people don't give a damn about you. Tough spot to be in. And so we frown on people like Byron Allen and all these other wealthy blacks who cut and run with their money and don't look back. I remember years ago when Oprah decided to build a school in South Africa. And I believe they said she spent some $40 million on a state-of-the-art facility with all the nice trimmings, a school for girls in South Africa. I remember the uproar from blacks here in America talking trash, talking about how come she didn't do something like that here. Why she have to go all the way to Africa to build a school for black girls? There's plenty of black girls here in America. Why does she have to go to Africa? We heard all of this rhetoric about why Oprah decided to build a school in South Africa. This woman ain't dumb. She's been living here in America. She sees what goes on here in America. She sees that a lot of the children here that go to these schools ain't interested in learning. And besides, those are black people too. So what difference does it make? But it shows the attitude of our people here. You want someone to waste their time, effort, and money on people who are not going to even appreciate what's being done for them. That is the sad part. Now, that's not to say that there are not students here that want that same opportunity. But this woman made her own choice. She says, I don't have time to go to this state and see if I can find 10 people qualified. Go to this city and see if I can find another dozen. Go to this city. She just didn't have the time. She didn't make the time, should I say. She didn't want the effort when she knew that over in South Africa, there were some young girls who were starving for education. Starving for it. She didn't have to look. She already knew that she had a whole group of them there. So many people applied, only a few were chosen because she can only accommodate so many. But here in America, I guess this woman felt like if I have to hunt down the people that I need to fill up this school, I'm not going to even waste my time. The catch-22 of being black in this world. As much as I love my people, as many of us love our people, there comes a time where the level of frustration just goes off the chart because it just doesn't seem to be enough motivation towards helping ourselves. We are always wondering what someone else is going to do for us. You see, and that's a sad place. And I do believe that we've been trained to be this way. A lot of things have trained us to be this way, and now they're about to pull the plug on some of these things. A lot of the social programs have made our people so dependent to where they don't even want to do for themselves. The number of people that I've heard that have made this statement, we were even on a radio show the other day to where this was brought up. And it was a very, very interesting radio show, very interesting questions. We talked about a number of different things, and we thank the host for inviting us on the show. But one thing that we heard a lot of people talking about on social media as it relates to the Black Panther film, there's this attitude of entitlement. Many of our people were wondering why or how much of the money that was earned from that film was spent in the Black community or given to the Black community. So I'm trying to figure this one out. There have been many films released, many films that were centered around Black people. And because this one made more than $1 billion worldwide, somehow we believe that some of that money should have been given back to the Black community. And I'm trying to figure out why. Why do the Black community have to get some of that money back? If someone can help me to understand that. Do any film that comes out, regardless to how much it makes, even if it only makes 300 million or 100 million, do any of these films give back to the Black community? And what are they giving back? I'm trying to figure out what are they supposed to give. If someone makes a film and they make money from it, and people from around the world go to see this film, why is it that the Black community is entitled to some of that money? That's a question that I have. When they make films about Asians, like when they made The Last Samurai, this was a film that was highly centered around Asian people. I didn't hear an outcry from the Asian community saying how much of that money is going back to the Asians. When they make films about Native Americans, I don't hear anyone asking how much of that money is going to the Native Americans. You all get the gist of what I'm trying to say. When you make a film about Arabs, they're not saying, well, how much of this money is going to the Arab community? Now, notice all these other nations that I'm naming. These people are out there making it happen for themselves. While they are making progress, we as a people are making excuses. And we're looking for everyone to hand something to us. When we, just based on what I started off talking about, Byron Allen, the comedian Byron Allen, buys this this Weather Channel for $300 million. And there are other deep pocket Black people just like him who have that kind of money. But if we were like some of these other groups where we thought about the collective, and I'm even talking about those on the lower end, even the poor people, if poor Black people thought about how their actions affected the collective of Blacks, if middle class thought about how my actions will affect Black people, period. If rich people thought about how my actions will affect Black people, period. If we all thought about the collective like some of these other groups, I wouldn't even be talking about any of this right now. But you have those who are poor who want to literally do nothing and have everything handed to them. And that's not every poor person. I'm not speaking about every poor Black person. I'm just saying for the most part, many of us don't want to put in the hard work required to help ourselves up out of our situations. Many of us have developed a lazy mindset. And we have come to expect for social services to bail us out of situations. And we don't want to work together. Crabs in the barrel syndrome is very real. We cannot deny it, family. looking at the next person saying, I'm not helping that Negro do nothing. I'm not helping her do anything. I do know that it's one of the curses that have been placed upon us as a people. But I also know that if we decide to repent, if we understand the importance of repentance, we don't have to ride around on these curses like a witch's broom. You can jump off of that broom and decide that, look, I'm not going to be this way. I'm not going to be lazy. I'm not going to hate on my brother or sister. I'm not going to have jealousy, envy, and strife against my brother and sister. I'm not going to be the kind of person who says I'm going to support this Mexican grocery store and not support this black grocery store. I'm not going to be that kind of person. I'm not going to be this rich black man who buys this network for $300 million, but I can't figure out one way to help the so-called black community. I'm not going to be this middle class black person who only cares about me, myself, and I. We have to make these determinations together, or we will always look at these other nations and how they're able to achieve so much, how they're able to make so much progress while we are making excuses. I can't say that I take my hat off to Byron Allen for this purchase because I don't know what direction it's going to go. It seemed like it was already dipping below. It seemed like it was already in a state of failing. Who knows? Maybe he's going to cause it to bounce back. I mean, they said it was purchased a few years ago for $3.5 billion. Now they're selling it for $3 million. It sounds like there's trouble in paradise. You see, I don't know. So I can't say I take my hat off for him, but I will say this much. He got to this place in his life doing something that he felt he was able to do, and he accomplished his goals. I don't know how he got there. I'm not going to speculate on that, but he's doing his thing. That's all I can say, you see. And many of us could do our thing if we would only understand the power of togetherness, in which I'm tired of speaking about togetherness. Other people are tired of speaking about it because it just doesn't seem to work, and it seems like it falls on deaf ears. Many of us say we want unity and we want to work together and we want togetherness, this, that, and the other, but we all fall short of that goal because togetherness is only a dream. When it's time to put forth the effort and the work and the time, the investment, when it's time to put forth the blood, sweat, and tears, that's where it all ends. So that is my take on comedian Byron Allen and his purchase. I told you there's so many different layers and levels to this family. And there's just so many more that I did not cover and I will not cover at this time. I just wanted to give my take and my 2 cents on his purchase. And with that, I will say shalom.